finally Fantastic Friday. What is it, Laura?
A little bit of Football Friday.
A little bit of Football Friday.
It's
I love that.
sectional.
Are you ready for some football? Sectional action on Wslm. Exciting.
Super exciting.
All right, and the weather's going to be apropos. It's going to be perfect.
Yeah, I think it's gonna be good.
Little chilly.
Still bringing my heater just in case.
Oh, I would too. I think everybody's going to gather around your heater. Now, is that an open flame?
It is. No, it's not. It's not at all.
What? I'm
It's
making
not.
sure because we are under a big burn ban.
I know.
And I know, just making sure.
No, it is
clearing
not.
the air.
It's a
Yeah,
little
clearing the air.
bitty buddy heater. They take them hunting with them.
There we
That's
go.
what it's truly made for.
Yeah.
We're hunting for a win.
That's right. Hunting for the victory.
Absolutely.
Right?
I'm gonna curve that however I need to curve that.
That's
to
right.
My heater.
I just wanted to clarify for anybody listening, okay? Because we are, and the authorities and everybody, of course, with harvest time, there have been so many field fires, so much going on there, and the firemen, the volunteer fire department, and policemen, and everybody.
Oh my lands! I seen the local cops going basically house to house making people put out
Fires.
their little fires. And I get it. Last weekend was a beautiful weekend for a fire. Perfect.
Yeah.
I wanted one just as bad,
Yeah.
but
We just can't do it.
no.
It's too
I
dangerous.
want my home a little more. I don't.
Well, and it's also, we talked about this yesterday, your neighbors, you know what I mean?
Yes.
You know, you don't want to do that. I mean, you know what I mean? And if you live by a neighbor that's doing it, I mean, that make you a little nervous. you know what I mean?
Absolutely.
And with the wind, we've had some wind, and we had this, so we are still, and we've not really had enough liquid there,
No.
enough water, so enough rain, so we just
The
really...
snow didn't last long enough.
No. And cold weather does not stop fires.
Woo, no, it
So
doesn't.
we just really need to be careful out there. I know. I'm not trying to be whatever, but I know this weekend, just know we are still under an extreme burn ban. So
Absolutely.
please do not burn. Yeah. So and Laura has her heater, but it's not a. I did see this. We were talking about s'mores yesterday. And Walmart actually they have them on sale right now. It's a little like you plug it in, I guess, and it's like a little stove, not a stove, but like a little thing, and you can make s'mores on it.
Oh. Wow.
All right, let's see who we got this morning with us, okay? This
Woo.
might be interesting.
It's your caller.
Good morning. Hi, who do we have with us this morning?
Hi, it's Ty Burr.
Hi, Ty. Good to have you with us this morning.
Good to be here.
Yes, and tell us what you got going on.
I'm calling because I'm supposed to be talking about movies to Becky.
Yes, and I am Becky. Yes, and we are excited, and I've got Laura in the studio with me, and we are excited to talk to you.
Great. Excellent.
So let's talk about movies and what's going on. We love a good movie.
Sure. Well, what do you want to know? What's out now? What's coming up?
Yeah, we want to know all of the above, and of course, right now, I guess let's talk about. We've been talking a lot about Halloween and Halloween movies and stuff, and I believe rating on the charts that we've been reading is The Exorcist is supposed to be like the scariest of all times.
Boy, I remember seeing that movie when it came out, and I was quite young, and I probably shouldn't have got to see it, and being absolutely terrified. And that's absolutely a movie that holds up. But there's a whole history of scary movies from the early days to last week. That if you're looking for a scary movie, you want me to throw some out there?
Yeah, I do. Absolutely.
I would say, the original Halloween from 1978, I would say accept no imitations there. I mean, that's the thing that started off the whole, move from the campfire story and the urban legend to the movie house and created infinite number of knockoffs, and it's still really scary. You want to go back in time? Go watch Rosemary's Baby from 1968 with Mia Farrow as a woman who gets pregnant with what may be, Satan's baby. It is still a terrifying movie. There's newer stuff. There's a movie called The Witch from a couple of years ago with Anya Taylor-Joy, that rising young actress, as a girl in Puritan times whose parents think that she's actually might be possessed by the devil. Is she or isn't she? You got to watch the movie to find out. There's lots of good stuff out there.
Yes, and now I even went, so I went back and even did, I've really done some research, on the old black and white, back in 1933, like The Invisible Man, Dracula, and The Werewolf.
Dying.
Do you love all those?
That's where I started. That's when I got hooked on those as a kid. I remember watching a Halloween block of Universal classics when I was a kid, and having to turn off the TV because I was so scared when the Mummy came to life. Those things hold up. Frankenstein. You ever seen The Bride of Frankenstein? It's one of the first sequels, and it's hilarious. It's actually really funny on purpose, and it shows you they were doing really clever things with sequels even back then. Almost 100 years ago.
Right. Well, let's talk about this now. Now we come to today. Is it harder? Do you think? Okay, movies. Do they have to go that shock? Okay, like you said years ago, like when we watched those older movies. I mean, we were scared. It was a little bit, the scary thing. But now you look, and now we're so gory, we're so bloody. I mean, as our shock factor taken us? Do we have to go further with that to get us to be more shocked or scared?
I think we've actually sort of the pendulum can swing back the other way. I think we've reached when you talk about Halloween in the 70s, that's sort of the rise of that's when that's the new rules of just like we're going to show you all sorts of bloodletting start, and then you get to the Saw movies, and that's what they were calling horror porn, and I actually think the pendulum has swung back the other way. So you get a movie like Smile, which is in theaters now, which is scary and fairly gory, but not too much, but has stuff going on in it, or there's some smarts in it, and then there's some thrills and suspense. Or a movie like one of my favorite movies from a couple of years ago is called The Babadook. It's about a little boy who discovers a children's book that has a sort of creepy character in it that if you just the creepy character's name too many times, it comes out of the book. And it's really about his relationship with his mother and this creature, and it's scary as heck, but there's not a lot of gore. In fact, there's hardly any gore in it. So I think that actually, if you want that, gory stuff, it's there. And, there's always, every week there's a movie that, teenagers can go and hold each other's hands and scream, while they watch somebody get dismembered. Fun. But there's also other things that if you look around, you can find some very creative and thoughtful and not necessarily extremely bloody horror movies.
Right. Well, and then I could, Ty, I would love, like, after movies are released, I'd love you and I just to I love talking about movies, and I love kind of saying that, they would maybe have gone this direction a little bit, maybe, because I feel like, let's go back years ago, and I know I'll quit talking about the past, but going back, like, there were movies that, like, they made you, they didn't have to show you everything, you just knew what was happening.
Right. Well, part of that was because, the old studios had rules. It was called the production code, the Hays Code, where you couldn't show gore. And then when that sort of disappeared in the 70s, all hell broke loose, literally. And like I said, I think the pendulum swung back a little bit. But, yeah, if you watch it, have you ever seen the original Cat People, the movie from the 40s? That is a terrifying movie, and they show you nothing, in part because they had no budget. They were like, okay, fine, we can't actually show people. We're just going to suggest stuff, and you're going to be terrified. And there's a scene at night at a swimming pool where the heroine is being stalked by something in the shadows, and you never see it, but it's an incredibly frightening scene. So, yeah, there is a lot to be said for less is more.
Yeah, exactly. And let's talk about, too, now. Okay, like we brought out, years ago, I used to like I played with dolls, and now like dolls are like they kind of ruined dolls for us because everybody, like this generation does not like, a lot of them do not like dolls. We have clowns that used to be fun, and clowns, and then now we've got the clowns. There's a lot of different like stereotypes now we're tagging, right, that we didn't used to have.
Well, I think that's one of the things that's a good spur to fear is taking something that's supposed to be innocent and all of a sudden making it scary. So, yeah, Chucky the doll, and some of those things are always a little creepy to begin with. So, there's always like some clown that creeped you out when you was a kid. So it's only a half step to all of a sudden you're talking Stephen King's It, and then the thing with that movie I was talking about, The Babadook, it's about a children's book, but there's something creepy about it. I think that's one of the things that's always worked well book, and horror is taking something that's supposed to be innocent and finding something a little scary in there.
I had a psychology professor say that, okay, so you start a scary movie off, or start a movie out, and a lot of times people are like, oh, I'm so scared. Remember, okay, let's go back. This is going to be, and you're going to be, this is how much of a weirdo I am with movies, too. Remember whenever the famous, and which is not necessarily gory or whatever, remember whenever everybody, Earthquake came out. Remember everybody ran out of the studios, they ran from the theaters. Remember Earthquake was too real for a lot of people to take in. Well, I had a professor that said if you have to follow the movie out and it will bring you back up. Is that, do you feel that way too, Ty?
What do you mean? If you have to follow the movie?
Like don't leave the movie, like if you're watching a scary movie or something.
Oh, yeah.
Always follow it out. Try to stay to the end. I mean, I sure wouldn't want to if it's like health reasons. I mean, because remember, Earthquake really was a huge. I mean, there was a lot of controversy about that movie. And
a gimmick called Sense Around. You remember that, where the whole theater would shake, your seat would shake with Earthquake, which I think, if you aren't expecting that, could be really distressing. But I hear your point about waiting it out. When I was younger, I remember going to see the original Texas Chainsaw Massacre, and being so scared by what I thought was about to happen that I left the theater. I didn't finish the movie. Years later, I went back, and the irony about the Texas Chainsaw Massacre is that despite the title, it's surprisingly ungory. They don't show you that much, but it's still absolutely terrifying. And that's kind of a measure of how effective that movie is. You can call it good, you can call it not good. That's up to you. But if I'd ridden it out, if I'd stayed out, I think I would have realized what it was doing instead of chickening out.
right. So let's talk about the new Halloween movie, okay? And I don't want to do any for spoilers for those that have not seen it. I'm sure you have, right?
Actually, I have not. I just got back from vacation, and there were a couple of movies I missed.
Okay. Well, I would love to know what you felt about it, because Halloween has been something that has been, I mean, for what are we at now? How many, 6 or 7? I don't even know how many Halloweens we're at now.
We're up to 84. I mean, I can speak to, I saw the original reboot that the director, David Gordon Green, did a bunch of years ago, which I actually thought was a really effective movie that brought back Jamie Lee Curtis, who was, of course, the original star of the original and the original final girl, and she's delightful in it, and I understand she's in the new one. As I said, I haven't seen it, but I think that when smart directors and smart performers and smart writers tackle one of these sort of classic, modern classic horror movies, they can do things with it that are really interesting. And interestingly enough, apparently some hardcore Halloween fans do not like the new one. Halloween Ends, and there's like an online petition going around saying we want it reshot and recut, which is ridiculous. But when you're upsetting the hardcore fans, you may be doing something actually interesting. You may be doing something right, because sometimes the hardcore fans just want to be served what they were served in the first place, rather than doing something fresh.
Yeah.
So I'm actually looking forward to seeing it.
Well, and I would love to talk to you afterwards, because I had different, different thoughts of it. I think that some of the things, they didn't call me. They asked me, but there might have been some things I always, when I leave a movie theater or after watching a movie, I always have to analyze it. You know what I'm saying? Maybe if they had done a little bit of this, I did that with Ghostbusters, the last Ghostbusters, but no one calls me, so, this is my family out here. The dog has to, okay, the dog doesn't leave, he listens. But anyway, going back to some of this, like the Halloween, they've been so successful, though, and you had so you had the Halloween, like you were talking about with the Jamie Lee Curtis, but then you also had the Rob Zombie, who took it to a different level, but carried it as a Halloween movie.
Right. And at a certain point, these movies become sort of almost public, domain, where any director who wants to play with them can come in. And Rob Zombie is obviously a very different kind of director than David Gordon Green, who's doing the ones now. But why not invite any other director to sort of play with these building blocks? And Halloween, especially, it's such an elemental story. It's just a boogeyman man with a mask and a knife, and that's all we need to know about him. You know. Yeah, and it goes back to those urban legends that you would tell yourself and your friends when you're teenagers to scare the bejesus out of each other. So it's so simplistic that, yeah, you can take that any direction you want. Why not? And maybe some people will like it, and some people won't.
Right. Now, Ty, are we doing okay on time? I don't remember how much time I have with you.
I think we have till another 10 minutes or so.
Okay, awesome. Okay, I want to talk. Okay, can you help me out with this, and maybe you can give me some clarity on this. Okay, I had trouble with zombies. I feel like okay, let me talk to you. Okay, okay, you have vampires. You know the vampires, what they can and they can't do. You have Frankenstein. You know what they can and can't do. You know what Michael Myers can and can't do, which he can just do about anything. But on zombies, it seems like every time you watch a zombie movie, they have to explain the rules. Do you feel, is that fair for me to say that? I don't think there's any kind of rules, or zombie seems to have a path on that. Do you feel that way?
You know what? There is a. First of all, Night of the Living Dead, back in whenever that was, 1968, laid down the basic rules of zombies. They move slowly. You shoot them in the head is the only way to kill them. They will eat you if they are able to catch up with you. And every other zombie movie. I should do something about this with my newsletter. Have I talked about my newsletter? I do want to mention that, where I let subscribers know about different movies that are out there on streaming. I should do like a history of the zombie movies and when the rules change. I remember seeing the movie 28 Days Later a bunch of years ago, where I guess technically they're not zombies. They are people who had a virus, and then I don't know whether they're not, what do you call them? Whatever, they move fast. And that movie said, okay, we're going to change the rules. These zombies can run, and they can run really fast, and that changes the dynamic. And you're right, I feel like every zombie movie has to restate the rules and say, here's the one that we're going to do a little differently. What was the one with Bill Murray? Zombieland. There's a movie called Zombieland that's actually a zombie comedy. And there have been zombie romances. I mean, the genre is infinitely flexible. But the Zombieland, as I recall, explicitly says, here are the rules, we're going to mess with them, we're going to tell you which one, it has fun with them. And I think that's true of few other horror genres. Maybe the Scream movies kind of got into that with the mad slasher cliche, but a lot of them play them straight, and zombies you can kind of mess around with, which is nice. They move slow.
Okay, so you're taking it better than I am. I'm sorry, I don't know. I like when I watch any kind of Dracula, any kind of like Frankenstein, or they don't have to tell me the rules. We know. I mean, we know when that cross comes out. We know when that light comes up. I mean, we know what's going to happen. You know what I mean? We know when that full moon comes out. You know what I mean? But on this, when that is a little bit one of my little pet peeves, when you have to tell me the rules. You know what I mean? Then you're making up as you go. You know what I mean?
Talked about this. Yeah.
I know. And who am I? They don't care. I know. But, right? Yeah, I want some consistency with the zombies.
Yeah, unfortunately, I don't think they're going to give that to you. That's baked into the genre. Like, no. Yes, you shoot them in the head, they die, but no, this time we're going to play around with that.
I know. And I shouldn't. I know. I need to just let it go because it's all for fun and everybody. That's cool. I know I'm the only one sitting there thinking that. I know, but that I had to get that out there. A little bit of pet peeve with the zombies. I'm not a fan of the zombies actually. I mean, it's not my. It's cool, but I just I'm just not a huge fan of that. But now let's go back. What do you feel, Ty, are some of the scariest? What's your scariest movie? If someone said, Ty, what's your scariest right now?
I would mention the original Texas Chainsaw Massacre. I would mention The Exorcist. I might mention The Ring. That movie's 20 years old now. It's an adaptation of a Japanese horror movie about a terrifying videotape. I would go back to some of the classics. Sometimes a movie can be terrifying and not have any actual violence in it. I'm thinking of a classic black and white movie from 1955 called Night of the Hunter. Did you ever see that with Robert Mitchum as the scariest psychotic creature in the history of the movies?
Yeah.
If you have not seen that, I recommend you look that movie up.
Well, and then speaking of a little bit on that, it sparked a one of my favorites. It's love the creature from the Black Lagoon. I've always been a huge fan. As a matter of fact, I got a huge statue of one in the studio. I'm just a huge fan of the creature. I know. I just love the way he's trying to grab that leg. You know what I mean? When someone's swimming, he's trying to grab that leg, and I'm a huge fan of that. And that's not. I don't know if that's very scary to some, but
Oh, you know what? I just remembered that you're talking about pulling on the leg and the underwater made me think of Jaws. You got to mention Jaws.
Oh,
That movie kept people from swimming. Kept me from swimming in the ocean for decades.
Yeah. Let me do it. I can do it. I thought if they need me to be a part. Shark. I work on that. See, I think they're going to call any day and have me be a part of a new Jaws. But yeah, Jaws is like, well, just when you hear that theme, you can't beat Jaws. You're totally right about that.
Well, and I think one of the reasons is that it could happen. I mean, I'm sorry that these zombies are actually not coming for you because they don't actually exist. But sharks do.
Yeah, that's exactly right. Yeah, you're right. Well, and I think that's just like in a lot of the movies, that are so scary is because it could really happen, right?
Yeah.
And that is where it's a little bit, where, and now they're doing some different people's lives and some, and that's a little scary too, some of those that they're releasing. Some of the different serial killers.
Oh, yes.
Yeah,
like the Jeffrey Dahmer series on TV.
Yeah. I've heard a lot of people, I have not watched it, but I've heard a lot of people that have, that are really, it's really kind of messed them up for a few days, they said.
Yep.
Yeah, so
Yeah. If you're asking one of the scariest movies I've ever seen, there's a movie from the 80s called Henry, Portrait of a Serial Killer. It's based on a true story. That is terrifying for many of the same reasons that you're talking about, the Dahmer series and even Jaws, because it's not a zombie, it's not a wolf man, it could happen.
Yeah. I happen to be, I like comedies too, and I love a good comedy, and the scare factor thing can be a little bit much. But I do want to ask you, going back, since we are talking before Halloween, how did you feel about the Hocus Pocus? Did you get to see it?
I haven't seen the new one. No, because I have daughters, but they're grown up. So there was no pressing reason for me to watch it. But have you seen it? Are you a Hocus Pocus fan?
Yeah, I have seen it.
We're in the right sort of generational group, I think, to have that movie be what it is.
Yeah, it probably. I'm not as big a fan as some. There's some, but I do, have some mucka shirt, But I do, I do think that, I thought it was good, very entertaining, and it's got the Disney twist a little bit. There were some things that really they got criticized a lot on, some of the things, but I think overall, it's entertaining and it's not, I like a little bit of something, but I don't like a whole lot of something.
Does this have a little bit of something or a whole lot of something?
No, it's got a little something. Yeah, it's good. It's not. Yeah, I have to, on the critics, I do agree with some of the critics though on it. I don't want to ruin it for you. I don't want to be that spoiler because I hate that. And I
well, you know what? Be a spoiler. I'm probably not going to see it.
Well, okay. There were some things. There were some references. There was a. Okay. Well, I guess we can just really. Okay. I'm going in. Okay.
All right. Go in.
I'm going to wear your hat for a minute, Ty. I'm going to do this crazy.
Sure.
I felt like they had a gentleman there that owned the store that knew that that these kids were the only way to bring back the three sisters, okay? And I felt like as an adult, I don't like that when an adult takes advantage of children. So I had a little bit of that one bugging me a little.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean?
Okay, fair enough.
Yeah, that one, I don't like that, and I feel like that's not something, that one bugged me. Then there were a lot of people that talked about the perfumes and the beauty products that they were looking for. Remember, if you go back to the original, they were taking the souls, trying to stay young and stuff. Well, now then they start talking about, in this one, you can go to the drugstore and you can get these beauty products, and a lot of people, that's where a lot of people did not like that reference in that. You know what I mean? Taking the young souls, you know what I'm saying?
Right.
Yeah.
Interesting. And these are movies that we're not necessarily going out to the theater to see, but they're just coming right in on our streaming platforms, so it's really easy to dial them up. So yeah, you should have conversations about them. You should have these discussions about them. It's good talking about these things, seeing what works and seeing what doesn't.
Right, and I think too, one more more thing. This is I've really been listening to a lot of people talk. I'm not saying these are all my opinions. I'm just saying this is what's out there. They felt like the Sarah Jessica Parker, which I think is beautiful, but they felt like some of her makeup was a little bit more than what it should have been. They felt like she was prettier, the first one, that this one had her more dolled up, so they didn't think that they necessarily needed that. Another kind of fun fact, the one sister that's got the doll that goes to the side, you know what I'm talking about?
Yeah.
Kathy Najimy?
Which one is she?
Kathy Najimy?
Yeah. She went to the other side because she said it was easier. Or
Yes. Yeah, it was actually easier. So that's why in the beginning of the movie, the main sister, like
that Midland.
yes, she slapped her and knocked her lips the opposite direction. Just to like
You know,
put
it's just so funny. These movies, especially the ones that you see when you're kids, they become almost like catechism. And so when a remake comes along 20 years later, you're messing with these childhood memories. I call them footy pajama movies because you saw them when you were in footy pajamas.
It's
I
true.
love footy pajamas. When did we ever leave footy pajamas?
Absolutely.
Come on, they're out there. They make them for adults. They're wonderful.
For me, it's Wizard of Oz. I saw that movie 10 times before I was 10, and don't mess with that movie. It's beyond criticism. So,
I agree. Boy, that's just like a classic.
I know.
Yeah. And you go back, my dad, he always talked about, like, as a little boy when you saw that, and when it went from, the black and white to color, he said, like, there was nothing, he just describing that, there was nothing ever like that. That would be, like, just a moment of awe,
I am old enough to have first seen it on a black and white set, and I didn't know that happened. And then at a certain point, we got a color TV set, and I watched it, and my mind just blew apart. It's like, what? Nobody told me about this.
Yeah. So I have to agree on that. But so what do you? I know we're talking about scary movies, and I know you probably need to go, Ty. I appreciate you being very generous with your time. But what are some of the what's the classic movie? If you told me what's your favorite movie of all time?
Well, I have a couple, and when you're a working movie critic, you get asked that question a lot. One of the things I'd say, because it's true, but it's also a movie everybody has seen, and the people who haven't seen it, I want them to see it. It's The Godfather. To me, that's that's like the greatest movie made in America. It still holds up 15 years on, and it's incredibly influential. Without it, you wouldn't have The Sopranos. You wouldn't have all the mafia stories that have come since. Incredible performances by Al Pacino, Marlon Brando, everybody. And it's a quintessential American story that still resonates. It's just, I could watch that endless amounts of time. But if you were talking about, real classics, one of the movies I remember turning my kids on to when they were young was Bringing Up Baby, the Katharine Hepburn, Cary Grant screwball comedy with a leopard. It's I don't know how old it is now. It's made in 1937, I think, but it is still hilarious, and it is still, you still see its gags show up in TV shows now. It's the original crazy rom-com. I could watch that movie. My daughters, when they were little, loved that movie so much that they had a Katharine Hepburn theme party when one of them turned 8. That's how much I mess my children up.
No, that's fantastic. No, it's good. It's good. I have to say one of my favorites is Breakfast at Tiffany's. I really think that's every time I watch it, I love the old classics like that.
Yep, me too. And I'm really cheered by the fact that Audrey Hepburn is still a star to, teenage girls today.
Oh, yeah.
No few other, I can't think of any other classic era star who is still relevant to that generation. And that's really remarkable.
I agree. I agree 100%. Yeah. Well, it's fun to talk movies. I can be here all day long talking movies because that's our family. We love watching movies. We love, one of our things we love to do. So there's so many great movies out there, and and the classics you can't beat. And I was just trying to think of some of the other ones that we, Gone with the Wind,
Mm-hmm.
It takes a little while to get through.
thinking of doing with my newsletter, just because I think your listeners might be interested.
Yes, absolutely. Don't, yeah, absolutely.
What I'm trying to do, so I've got this newsletter called Tiber's Watch List. It's at tiberswatchlist.substack.com. It's free. You can pay for it if you want. You get some extra stuff. But the whole idea of it is that I'm telling you what good movies are out there in theaters, but also on all these streaming channels that we have. So everybody's got Netflix. Everybody's got Amazon. You might have Hulu, HBO Max, Disney Plus, whatever, but you don't have any idea what's on them. So, you know, a couple of times a week I send out an email saying, here's something good. Could be something that's brand new. Could be something from 50 years ago. Could be something from 10 years ago. And, you know, Halloween's coming up. I'm absolutely going to be sending out a list of, like, here are the 10 scariest movies that I know of. So, you know, I'm just plugging it because I'm having a really good time with it. And I got a ton of subscribers who really seem to respond because we're all looking for stuff to watch because we have all these streaming channels. No idea what's on them. They don't, other than sort of saying, here's the top tier that we're pushing this week. You have no idea what's on there, so you need some help. That's what I'm trying to do.
All right, wonderful. Well, and, you know, I mean, definitely always fun talking to you, Ty. I appreciate that. Talking movies. We love to talk movies. Let's talk again. And anyway, and let's keep watching those movies. You've got a couple you need to get caught up on there, it sounds like.
It's absolutely true. Hey, you know, you got to take a vacation every once in a while. So, yeah,
100%. I'm 100% with you on that. Vacations are fantastic. Yeah. Well, thank you again, movie critic, and also definitely check out the newsletter. Ty Burr, thank you so much, and have a great weekend.
You too, Becky. Thank you for having me on.
Happy Friday.
Bye.
All right, that's Ty there. That was interesting, wasn't it?
Yeah, I had no idea.
Yeah. That's kind of interesting.
Yeah.
Kind of fun to see
Check
what
out his newsletter.
Yeah.
I pay for all those services and don't use half of them.
Yeah.
I mean, my kids use them. It's not just frivolous. They use
Yeah, I know. Isn't it funny how, yeah.
So, my favorite movie of all time?
Yes, Laura.
Absolute favorite movie.
Let's hear it.
Year round, do not care. Christmas Vacation.
Oh, yeah, you always love
It's
that.
always been my
yeah,
favorite.
No matter what time.
I love it.
Yeah.
Love it. Love it.
Yeah.
The kids know it word for word because I watch it year round.
That's hilarious.
Yeah.
I always have to say mine. So I did say, I do love Breakfast September. I do. That just is a cool movie, good movie. But I love White Christmas. And and there's so many.
There are so many good ones though.
Oh, yeah.
But you know what? I'm getting ready. We're gonna watch Charlie Brown for Halloween. We always watch Charlie Brown on Halloween.
I thought they were playing.
They are, but I have an old recorded version.
Look at you going around. There you go, going around. Which I'm sad about that.
I know.
Yeah. It's just like, okay, and I mean this, like, it's just like the radio. You know, like when you're like, if you play a song at home, that's one thing. But when you hear it on the radio and it comes through, it just is a different feeling. You know what I mean, right?
Yes,
You know,
yes.
it really.
When they kept saying that they weren't sure if they were going to play it next year, they weren't sure if they were going to play it next year, I DVR'd it and I've always saved it.
Good for you. Very smart.
So that's, we watched that old, I mean, and I probably had it DVR'd for, I don't even know how long, I'll have to look.
Yeah,
but
you're ready. Yeah.
Yeah, so I always save it and
Well, they're just
that's
like
what we watch.
Yeah, and I, you know, I mean, I love the Christmas movies, and I
Yes.
try to get them all.
Yes.
Before, you know, I start early, and then by the 25th, I've got them all watched.
Like the kids, everybody knows, aside from Sunday, they take the big TV for football. They love to watch football. Aside from that, it's usually Hallmark Channel, and I never truly watch an entire movie, but I always have it played all the different.
Yeah. Well, you know, I mean, even if like you're in the room doing laundry,
I mean, you know how they're gonna end, and that's what the boys always laugh and make fun of me. They're like, "Mom, you know they're gonna end up together. You know it's gonna be a happy." And I'm like, "I know, but I still like to."
Yeah.
I just like to have it on.
Yeah, and you just, I have to agree. Right. So, anyway, movies, and for anybody, you know, going to be doing some movie watching this weekend, hopefully that helps you a little bit out.
Absolutely.
But, and I like The Great Gatsby.
Yes.
That always, there's like certain movies that every time you watch them, they deliver a good message.
Yes,
You
they
know,
do.
it's always like, you know, I don't know, it's enjoyable. No matter how many times you watch it. I have seen Jaws on the list. I mean, you know, I can do that scene. Shark. You remember when the shark was on? I told my family, I think I missed my calling. I think I could have been that.
Should have been in that movie.
that too, though. You know what I mean? I'm still, yeah.
Yeah. That's great.
Yeah, definitely. Well, because, and then have you seen all of this, and it's really sad, all these bear attacks.
I know.
You see the grizzly bear, were the 3 or 4 students that were out, and they got attacked, and I mean, it's a miracle that they survived.
Yeah. Absolutely.
I mean, I'm just amazed. Usually, you don't walk away from that, you know? Yeah.
Well, I seen on the news the other day, I don't know, one of the news channels, a bear had gotten in a lady's Range Rover in California, I believe. I want to say it was California. I don't know. Don't quote me on where it was at. But it literally ate the entire inside of her car. Like, it was just destroyed. Destroyed. Absolutely.
Well, you know, like when I went to Tennessee, I feel like, sometimes nature tells me when I went this, but there was a bear. We saw a bear. And that's something that and the shark, I'm out of my comfort zone because you don't know how to handle that. You know what I mean? And with the bear, they were not the grizzly, which the grizzly they say is the worst. That was the one.
There was one out in Tennessee, Gatlinburg. We had stayed in a cabin. It's been several years ago, but there was one up on the deck, and it had gotten the lid open on the grill, and I mean there was no way out. Each door was to that patio, so it was like, we're stuck till this decides to leave because I'm not going and facing it.
No, I know. And that's the thing too. When you're out there, that's what we came in. We came in town with one, but he didn't. He had other things to do. Thank goodness. But I'm always afraid, like if I had brought my dog.
Yeah.
I mean, because I know my dumb dogs.
Absolutely. They would think they're a bear at that point.
Yeah, they would challenge you. I mean, I do not want to see that.
Absolutely.
That always would make me so. Yeah, those are things that I really want to avoid.
Yeah. Absolutely.
Yeah, but I really, it's such a blessing that they made it. But I just listening to their stories and what all they had to do to help each other out. And that was like a gladiator moment where everybody worked together to survive.
Absolutely.
And I think that'll be it forever. All right, we're on to the 21st day of October. Okay, we do have football tonight. We'll talk about that in just a second. Today is Back to the Future Day.
Ooh.
I'm ready for that. Yeah, I love that.
Yeah.
Apple Day. I love a good apple. So do you just eat apples, or do you put caramel, or do you put peanut butter, or how do you do
It just depends. I like them all of those ways.
All of
Yeah. Yeah, it just depends.
Well, I like a good apple. Apples are good, and of course you get, really good apple. But lately that caramel.
Yes, the caramel is.
I'm telling you, Laura, it's
yeah,
dangerous.
It is.
It really is.
It is. But I like them with peanut butter too.
Oh, I do. Oh, yeah. And then have you seen where they're doing the charcuterie boards?
Oh,
That's what I
yes.
said it now.
Yeah.
They're doing the boards, and they're putting peanut butter, and then you put like, nuts on it, and then you put like honey or caramel on it, and then you just take your apple and yeah.
You're gonna need a charcuterie board.
I need them. I've got them. Yeah, I got them. Oh, definitely. I just don't want to. I'll start eating it. I don't want to do that. Now I did have one the other day, and now Holiday World is really good about if you get a chance to get one of theirs. They have one.
So
It's something like the cookie thing. I can't remember what they call it. But like it was huge.
Yes.
They gave me one, and it was so big. So you have to take like a knife. I could not. There was no way. I couldn't even. It looked like a photo. I mean, it was just unreal the way they make them. But I did have one the other day that was the chocolate and caramel, and it put Reese's Pieces on it.
Laura, I had one with pecans from there.
Oh,
The last time we were there, it was so delicious.
yeah, it's just that's very good. Yeah, definitely. So anyway, Apple Day, which I really want to get back to just eating regular apples.
Yeah.
I mean,
Fall will be over soon.
not having to break out all that caramel and the the caramel and peanut butter.
Yeah.
Just so good. Babbling Day. I babble. I'm a babbler.
We're babbling about apples.
We're
at the moment.
babbling. Celebration of the Mind Day. Always take care of your mind.
Absolutely.
You find too, we talk about that sometimes, like, you become, like, everybody gets overloaded. We talked about information overload. Your mind sometimes gets so much going, and you Meds Day.
Ooh.
And as a nurse, I'm sure you feel that way.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, making sure you're good.
Make sure you're thinking what you're supposed to do.
Count your buttons day. Remember how people used to have button jars?
Ooh, yes.
You
Yes,
have
yes,
one?
yes.
I
I
think
do still
I
have
thought you did.
one.
I think
Yeah.
you did, yeah.
It's a tin. A little tin. Super cute. Yeah.
You know how like if you get a piece of clothing and they send a button with it?
Yeah.
I
Gotta
always
put it in the little tin.
you never know.
Yeah.
Developmental Language Disorder Awareness Day.
That's a good
That
one.
is good. Very good, very good. Garbanzo Beef Day. Garbanzo.
Garbanzo. I don't.
I've had them before. It's a long time. I can't remember.
I
can't
don't know
remember.
that I care for them.
I don't.
Maybe I do, but I don't think I do.
Yeah. 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 This is Global Iodine Deficiency Disorder Prevention Day. Iodine means like a salt.
Yes.
So, and that's something you know that of course with focus and potassium and you know that is too. So. International Day of the Nacho.
Yum. Favorite kind of nacho.
You tell me.
Ooh, mine is I like the pulled pork barbecue nachos.
I know that. I know that. I know that.
They're my faves. We make those at home.
Aren't those just
Super
delicious?
good. Yeah.
No, I know. I'm on those too. That's I mean, and it's so nice when it's even.
Yeah.
Like when every chip has the meat and cheese. When you have the combination, when it even, you have to really.
And healthy meal and fat.
Yeah. And you really have to really have to work at it because, like at the very end, you don't want just a chip.
Yeah.
I mean, not that a chip and a cheese is not bad, but if you can keep that like consistency, you know, that meat, you just, yeah.
Absolutely.
I'm really on that too, Laura. Yeah. National Mammogram Day. Make sure you get
one.
your. Yeah.
Absolutely.
National Pets for Veterans Day. Love that.
Ooh,
Yeah.
that's a good one. Yeah.
Love our veterans. National Pharmacy Buyer Day.
That's a good one.
They say this is okay. Again, I'm quoting other people. Okay, but they say that this flu shot, they got it. They hit it on the mark. They got it right.
I hope so.
They said that there's 4 strands that they got that is really good. They said this flu shot is really on what do you call on point.
On point.
On
Yeah.
point. Yeah.
Yeah.
So that's what I've heard. Don't you know?
Fantastic.
Not a
That's
doctor.
fantastic
Don't play with it on
news.
TV. Don't encourage whatever you do. You do you. Boo boo.
Absolutely.
You do what's best. But I have heard that they got it on. They really nailed this when they got it on.
Fantastic.
Let's hope that is the case.
Yeah.
National Pumpkin Cheesecake Day.
Ooh, yum.
Had it was pumpkin pie with grilled with caramel and whipped cream and pepper.
Yeah.
National Witch Hazel Day. Okay. Reptile Awareness Day.
Okay. That's a good one. Especially with the hurricane that, just went through.
Yeah. World Student Day.
Oh, that's a good one.
That's all for all of our students.
Yeah,
out there.
we
You
got
keep
some
up,
pretty
keep
great
it
students.
going.
Absolutely. They're on e-learning today.
Yes, they are.
East
Absolutely.
Washington and Salem are. So, yeah.
So good for them. Yeah.
Absolutely. Mine were going to get breakfast and then start their
Oh, that's
schoolwork.
always fun. That's a good difference. You know?
Absolutely.
Or you get breakfast and stuff. Because a lot of times you don't have time to do that.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah, well, they don't normally get to go and get breakfast, so
That's
yeah,
a
they
big
were
deal.
excited.
That's a big
So
deal.
yeah.
Yeah, that's awesome. All right, this is top things that parents consider to be me time.
Okay.
You know, I always felt like, and when the girls were little, like you rush around and almost your whole, besides you have work and things going on in family, but it can consume you just completely your children.
Absolutely.
You know what I mean?
Absolutely.
And so when the girls went to bed, we had wonderful. My girls were really good about bedtime, which what a blessing.
Absolutely.
So when they were in bed, I always felt like deep breath, right?
Yes,
Right? No,
whether it's just to pick up the toys or
That's what I mean.
watch TV or read a chapter in your book or people like playing on their phones.
Yeah.
Whatever.
Well, I didn't have the phones necessarily playing that, but that would be like when they were in bed and all the giggling stopped.
Yes.
There was a lot of giggling and talking.
Oh, I'm sure.
So when all that stopped and they were actually asleep, I was like could run through the house and get like some of the stuff picked up.
Yes.
You know what I mean?
Absolutely.
And then maybe sit down and have either a cup of coffee or just
Absolutely.
me time. Okay. So
Absolutely.
here's the top things that parents consider me time.
Okay, let's hear it.
Number 1, watching TV.
Absolutely.
I agree. If you can
Absolutely.
like watch a movie you've been wanting to watch, if you can stay up late enough.
Absolutely. Yeah, I never made it. I would guys wake up asleep in the chair, and I'm like, oh my heavens, why did I even
What
do
did I
that?
start this? I know. Okay.
Yeah.
Number 2, reading a book.
Oh,
yeah.
love to read.
Yeah,
No, I love to read.
Well, and it's funny because then I would, every time I would start it, I'd fall asleep.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And I never have my bookmark in it, so when I wake up,
Yeah, it's like, where did I?
know.
Then I have to go back and reread. Yeah, but that's
Absolutely.
okay.
Yeah. So.
Number 3, going for a walk. Me time. See, I do love that.
I do like that, but I don't know when you would do that, especially if you have little kids.
Well, I guess maybe if they are somewhere, you know,
Yeah.
me time.
I
This
can
is
see
the
that.
top things that they consider me time. You know, just a nice little walk, right? Ooh, sleeping. Oh,
Having bed.
I'm telling you what. You get sleep.
Absolutely. Don't get a puppy though. If you're getting out of the baby stage, don't get a puppy. 4 a.m.
Is it Nala?
Yes,
Why
the
does she
queen.
think-
I don't
why does she think she has to be at
know.
4 a.m.?
I do not know.
What does she want to do?
She just wants to go potty and go straight back to bed, but
But it's still that.
yes, it's 4 a.m. It's like, oh heavens, I do not have an infant. I have a teenager. She should be sleeping. Yeah.
That's number 5, just sitting in total silence. Oh, have mercy.
You know, sometimes I do that in my car.
Yeah.
If I'm going from like hospital to
You
hospital
do.
or
You're in your
building to
car a
building.
lot. Yeah. Yeah. I know.
Sometimes if I have a few extra minutes, I will just sit there. Just sit there, no radio, no phone, no nothing. Just sit there.
That's not a bad thing. And that's
No.
something that a lot of times we don't do. And you know, like even like on lunch hours, you know, like let's say you can't leave, but you can go out to your car and just get that moment of silence.
Absolutely.
Okay, it takes me a little while. Okay, when I'm in that moment, okay, let's say that I'm a little bit on edge because I'm thinking there's something I forgot.
Yeah.
It takes me a little while to get to where you realize, yeah, that this total silence is okay.
Absolutely.
Because usually silence is somebody's up to something.
Absolutely.
Somebody's up to no good.
Or you've forgotten a lot of stuff and
Yeah.
it's all
Yeah.
fixing to hit the fan.
Yeah, exactly.
Absolutely.
Yeah, so that happens. So total silence. Ooh, a relaxing bath.
Ooh.
Totally. Yes.
Fantastic. Yes.
Best day ever, right?
Absolutely.
Yeah. Number 7, catching up with friends, got your kids around. How wonderful.
Yeah, that is wonderful.
You know, like when your kids are around, like you can start so many conversations, but you never get one finished.
No.
You don't get to ask, you don't get to know. I mean, right? Isn't it true?
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Number 8, exercise.
Oh, that's a
Yeah,
good
that's
one.
great.
Yeah.
I always try to get mine to just do it with me.
Yeah.
Number 9, having a skip drink.
Oh.
This is called me time, okay? Me time. Number 10, sitting down with a nice meal. Oh, and having a warm meal.
Yes.
Hot meal. Hot meal.
Absolutely.
I think I really have adjusted and I've learned
Yeah.
that I can eat food at any situation.
Absolutely.
Right?
Absolutely.
I think, and I'm not just stereotyping mom, I mean dads too, but I think that you just learn that whenever you get food, it's a good thing, and whatever temperature it is, you learn to adjust. I mean, but there's nothing like a good hot, warm meal. So it is a good
Agree.
thing. It is a good thing. All right. So let's see here. 61% of people say, Laura, that making a homemade costume leads to more candy.
Really?
Okay. Let's see here. We're at the point where you need to know if your Halloween costume this year is going to be something creative, or if you're just going to throw something together at the last minute, like you do every year. Okay. If you care about maximizing your candy haul, okay, this is hilarious. Maximizing the candy haul. Putting effort in your Halloween costume would be worth it. Okay. A new poll: 61% of the people say creative costumes should net more candy, and that's for the costumes themselves, not having a creative explanation for why you're barely dressed up. Okay, so like if you work hard on your costume and have it actually homemade, they're saying you should have get more candy. Parents are 3 times more likely to buy Halloween costumes than make them because it's easier.
Absolutely, it's easier.
But for themselves, 46% of adults would prefer a DIY costume, do-it-yourself costume,
Okay.
because it lets them be more creative and it's more fun to put together. A lot of parents say their kids are asking for classic costumes like pirates, vampires, scary stuff, superheroes, and villains. But some kids are asking for stuff like chicken nuggets, a blue tarantula, and a green bee.
A green
A
bean?
green bean. I went as I did. I did one daughter. We did celery. It was hilarious. It was all she was all green, and we just took some the celery sack. It was really cute. And just put it like in her like in a tiara, like in her head. It looked like the celery stalk. No, it was adorable. It was adorable. Yeah, adorable. You know what I mean? She felt dirty.
Who would have thought? And celery.
Yeah, it was really cute. And celery actually smells, kind of fresh. It smells good. Celery's not got a bad smell. You don't like celery? Celery.
Celery, see?
I like the smell of celery. You don't think it's kind of like a fresh?
Celery.
You don't think it's got a fresh smell?
No.
Celery. Well, Laura. Okay.
I'm gonna call it celery from now on.
Celery, yeah. Get some celery out there.
Yeah.
I like it.
some celery and peanut butter.
That's hilarious. Oh, it's good now.
It's good.
Again, we're going with
See?
peanut butter with it all.
Yeah. Peanut butter's good though. It's protein.
It is.
It's good for protein.
Yeah, it's just how much peanut butter you use.
Well, yeah, you can't
Right.
use a tub. One stick of celery in a tub of peanut butter. Like, that's not going to work. You got to
I know.
ration it.
I know.
Ration it
So
out.
good. Yeah. Celery.
I love it. Look, we're coming up with new
New
words.
words. We're creative. I imagine not have been in the dictionary. Have you seen all the words they added to the dictionary?
I did.
Okay, so men are tired of being. This is all the men out there. Okay, they're tired of being judged. Okay.
Okay.
So they're coming back and they're saying, here's some of the things that they're tired of being judged on.
Okay.
I don't think I judge anymore on any of it. Do you? I mean,
After COVID, it's just like, go with it.
do whatever,
Go with
right?
it.
Okay.
Fine.
I think men are sick of being judged for, number one, having non-manly hobbies like baking or gardening. I think it's fantastic. I love a man in the kitchen.
Well, yeah.
I don't have any. You're not going to get any. I think it's fantastic, and they do good.
Yeah.
They can do good.
Absolutely.
They can really do this. And gardening. I mean, farmers been doing gardening for years. You think you wouldn't? I mean, come on, a farmer? Come on, gardening and baking. I don't. This is not Laura and Becky's list. Okay, I don't think I would not. I love anybody, any male that wants to bake or cook or
But
garden.
I think a lot of men are doing even the crafts, like the wooden crafts and things, because
I love that.
it's become such a big thing to refinish, refurbish, reuse,
Oh, yeah.
So I
Yeah.
don't know that I can
And I
agree
think-
with any of this.
And I think, I don't know, but I think sometimes like on baking, maybe they think sometimes out of the box. They do different combinations, you know what I mean? Like add stuff that, that really works really good.
Yeah, we would never take the risk.
Well, and like on my end, I always did so much cooking that I didn't, and baking takes extra time.
Absolutely.
So that was where I didn't have much time to bake.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I think a man baking or cooking or gardening, please do.
Agree.
Please do. Let's see here. Pampering yourself with like massage. If a woman can get all the spa treatments they want, but if guys say, I don't agree with that. I don't think there's wrong. I think as a man, or if you work hard and you need a massage, go for it.
Absolutely.
You know what I mean? And if that helps, right? There's nothing wrong with that. We are totally. This is like wah wah. I don't agree with this at all.
No.
Okay.
I think they've
Totally.
surveyed the wrong people.
Yeah. Who are they? I think they just made this up. Yeah. I don't agree with that at all. I say if you need a massage or something, then you get it.
Absolutely.
I have no problem. Taking long showers or relaxing showers. Oh, I think that's fantastic.
Well, yeah.
I mean,
Who am I to time their showers?
I don't think that's wrong at all. This is like
No.
things men are sick of being judged for. I don't judge on any of this stuff.
No.
I think it's fantastic. And a relaxing shower. I mean, if you've had a hard day,
Absolutely.
right? If you take more than 10 minutes, people assume. I don't know. I don't know. I don't know what the mama papas are talking. I'm not even gonna. I'm gonna get off the subject.
Yeah.
Ordering a cocktail or a girl drink instead of beer. Well, why? Why not? I mean, right now in our community, in this area right here, because we're in the Kentuckiana area,
Absolutely.
like bourbon and all that stuff,
Yeah.
right? And Tennessee whiskey, all that stuff.
That's not uncommon.
No, you don't have a beer. I mean, do what you want to do.
Absolutely.
I don't have any. I don't look
But
at
who
anybody.
pays that close of attention?
Yeah. So what? Gin, vodka, whatever. I don't know. I mean, I'm just throwing stuff out there. I wouldn't judge anybody.
No.
I don't think, honestly, okay, I'm going to be honest. If you come up and you had had something, whatever, besides a beer, and you just told me you'd taken a 20-minute hot shower, and you got a massage earlier that day, and you baked some cookies, and, or whatever, or baked some zucchini fresh from your garden, I don't think I'd be very happy.
Absolutely.
I don't think I would. I'd be like,
That man has
judging
like
wouldn't even come to
everything.
my mind.
Yeah,
That's
no.
not even going to come to my mind.
No.
Not at all. Not at all. I'm going to completely blow that. That's a low. I don't know where they come up with this stuff, right?
Agree.
Yeah, we do not agree with that at all.
No.
Okay.
That one's not agreeable.
Yeah.
So who are the high schools playing tonight?
Yeah, let's talk about it.
Salem is playing Charlestown.
Was Washington playing Clarksville?
No.
Or maybe Eastern's playing Clarksville. So
Yes,
Eastern's at
Eastern.
Clarksville. Is that Clarksville? Eastern's at Clarksville.
Okay, and then West Washington is at
It's so far away.
Green. Southern
Eastern Green?
Eastern Green. I want to say Southern Green, and I
Eastern
know
Green,
that
yeah.
that's not.
Southern Green is
Yeah,
something we have
Eastern
on-
is at Clarksville, West Washington at Eastern Green.
Yeah.
And Salem is at home against Charlestown.
Yeah. Wait, yeah, Salem's at home. Yeah, Charleston.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's going to be a tough game, I think, for all three. So.
I think, yeah, it's going to be different. Wouldn't it be awesome if all three counties, all three teams won?
Miley.
Wouldn't that be fun?
That would be
I
fantastic.
would love that. Yeah, I hope so. I would wish them good luck. And
Absolutely.
all of them have their work cut out for them.
Yes, they do.
But every one of them, that's why they call it a game.
Absolutely.
And it's just, and we just got to go in there. And I talked to Montana. He said, he was giving the guys, he was razzing them about it. He was trying to get them all fired up. He said. So, real quick on that, since we are, Eastern will be playing at home tonight. That's right. You just don't. Thank you, Brent Miller. Thank you, Brent Miller.
Thanks, Brent.
Yeah,
because
Brent,
we did
yeah,
not
I
have that
think-
correct.
I
I'm like,
know they play Clarksville, but I couldn't remember which home.
yeah, I'm like, I don't think that's
So
right.
that
I don't
means
think
Mikey Bat and Wes and Drury will be firing up the grill. So you want to get their good food. Grill, they do ribeyes and they do food. So you want to get to the grill.
absolutely.
And then they'll be on the radio. It's so funny because they they come right from the grill
last second.
and then they're on the air.
Yeah.
So it's funny because you have your vocabulary of when you're grilling and cooking.
Absolutely.
And then you got to change it to the vocabulary of sports announcers.
Absolutely.
So it's
But they
just
do a
funny.
fantastic
They're
job.
awesome.
So,
And
yeah.
they love their team.
Absolutely,
okay?
they do.
Just like thank you, Brent Miller. I appreciate that. All right, we got a little confused. I felt bad at that man thing.
Woo!
Yes.
Yeah, that
Yeah.
was a hot mess. We're
Yeah.
not doing that.
No.
We don't agree.
That's right.
WSLM did not approve.
No. We put a disclaimer on that.
Absolutely.
Okay, real quick. When football first started, there was a 15-yard penalty if a player dropped a pass, and the other team got the ball if a pass hit the ground without being touched. So a little bit of football trivia
Oh.
tonight. You can talk about that and a little bit of a fun to talk about. So we're going to give a big shout out to all of our three county teams. Boys.
Absolutely.
We're
Good
going to
luck.
have
Stay
a great
healthy.
time. Stay healthy. Yes, no injuries.
Yeah. Absolutely. No more.
No injuries, okay? That's what we are putting out there into the world.
Absolutely.
All right, don't forget McDonald's has the Boo Bucket. The Boo Bucket. They're no joke.
I still need to go get mine.
Yeah, go get a Boo Bucket for their Happy Meals. They're good. We'll see here. I'm trying to remember anything else. We got the Boo Bash coming up on the 29th.
Yes.
It's going to be fun.
5 to 6:15.
Gotta
Stevens
be there.
Museum,
Yep.
and then the parade at 6:30.
Fun.
Super
And
excited.
let's see here. I think that's quite a bit. I did talk to Stephanie Rocky at the clerk's office, and people are doing plenty of voting.
Yes.
A lot of people. So if you have that option, they have actually spoon-fed us. I mean, they have Saturdays options, they have weekdays options, they have wonderful hours. Or if you want to wait till election day, just get out and vote. Yeah, so we'll remind everybody of that. Just some little fillers out there reminding everybody to be out of town. You do it early, and they are fantastic. I don't know if anybody else, they just really do it.
Absolutely. You do a fantastic job. All right, let's take our one. Absolutely. We want to thank Meadowview Healthcare, Walmart, Salem Crossing, Hoosier Uplands, Celebrity Home Loans, Dr. Black's Eye Associates, Dr. Minigun, and Fox Spring Wealth Management.
Happy Friday.
Happy
hide your birthday party at McDonald's, playing with your family and friends, enjoying cake and that one-of-a-kind McDonald's food and drink? If you're looking for a fun and safe place to have a party for your children or grandchildren, look no further. Party time is back at McDonald's right here in Salem, Mitchell, and West Baden. That's right, hosted birthday parties are back, baby. Call event coordinator Renee Lewis at 812-788-0126 to schedule your birthday for Salem, Mitchell, or West Baden today. The party includes food and drink for up to 10 guests, with your choice of white or chocolate cake, ice cream for each child, a gift for the birthday boy or girl, goodie bags for each child, and a festive decorated party area. Parties at Salem allow children to play, while the McDonald's in Mitchell and West Baden will feature age-appropriate games. Let McDonald's make your child's next birthday party stress-free for you and fun for them. Call Renee at 812-788-0126 today and get your next party on the schedule at McDonald's.
This is Melissa Jeremiah with Hoosier Uplands Home Health Care and Hospice. Our professionals are available at 812-849-4447 to answer any questions